Welcome to the Sport Geeks episode 4. I'm Andy and this is Dylan, and we're here to debate another topic like we did last week. Thank you for watching our last video, as we greatly appreciate it. We got a few comments, but the suggestions, they were good. They were good. It's just we wanted to cover something a little different this time, so please suggest down below what you want us to do for our next episode. It's very important, and it really helps us debate what you want to hear. So, Dylan, what is the topic for today?
All right, so tonight, Andy and I are going with a slightly modified version of a topic that was suggested to us. And tonight's topic is, should Mike Babcock, in the wake of Detroit's elimination from the NHL playoffs, leave for another team or remain head coach of the Detroit Red Wings?
Thank you, Chris, for suggesting that. I believe someone else may have as well in another video. And I'm going to take the stance that he should stay. I'm going to go first. We'll go back probably 3 times, and then we'll close the video out. If you agree with what we're saying, post down below. If you don't agree, post down below. If you like the video, make sure you give it a like. So that's that. All right, I'm going to start now. Babcock should stay. And the reason why he should stay is because Detroit doesn't miss the playoffs. Detroit hasn't missed the playoffs since I've been born. Detroit hasn't missed the playoffs since you were born. I don't know why somebody would want to leave that situation. I don't know why. I really don't. Like, it's like, oh, we don't really start playing hockey until April. It's like, well, you have Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg and Nicholas Kronwall. Sure, you have little holes that you may have to fill, but Detroit is the place to be, in my opinion. Dylan, what's your response?
I think Babcock should leave Detroit. I think it's time. The team makes the playoffs every year, but they haven't advanced past the second round since the 08-09 season, where they lost the Stanley Cup to Pittsburgh. The team, it's not the perennial contender it used to be. There are people who doubted if they would even make the playoffs this year, and it's their team. He's even acknowledged in interviews the team's getting older. They have Cronwell, they have Datsyuk, they have Zetterberg, who are 34, 37, and 35 respectively, if I'm not mistaken, and they may have made the playoffs for the past 20 or so years, but all streaks come to an end at some point, and he may not want to be there when that happens.
It makes sense to say the good players are really old, and they're not really old. You see Datsyuk, he's still making magic on the ice. Zetterberg's still putting points up, but they have kids. It's not like they don't have the kids. They have Sheehan, they have Abdelkader, Nyquist, Tatar, Jerko. The list goes on and on. I don't like. There may be older players that have to retire, but Steve Yzerman and Sergei Fedorov had to retire too eventually. And when Steve Yzerman left, Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg filled the shoes. You know, I think it's just a gradual shift in players, and I just think they didn't miss the playoffs this year, and I think this is where the shift has begun. I think they're shifting to players that can keep the playoff streak alive.
They do have their share of young talent, and you can't ignore it because you can see it right now with the players you listed, and even Peter Mrazek took over, and he did fairly well as taking over actually during the playoffs. And I look at it like he could stay and continue with that team. But it's hard to replace a guy like I know they did survive those guys you listed. Nicholas Lidstrom retired and they survived it. When Pavel Datsyuk and Cronwall and Zetterberg all go, I know they have the good young talent, but are Nyquist and Tatar and Yurko Mantha, are those guys that can step in and fill the voids left by these guys when teams like Buffalo, who seems to have a bright young future, Edmonton, Toronto, even Philly has a head coaching vacancy. Even Boston or St. Louis could have vacancies in the near future, and a good offer from those teams could be very tempting.
You make a good point with the teams that may have head coaching vacancies with Boston and St. Louis, because Boston is a lot like Detroit in terms of how they're built, not necessarily in how the players play, but you have that Datsuk and Bergeron. You have good players there. And the Blues, I think there was something about them. They remind me of the San Jose Sharks of the last 10 years, and it's utterly disappointing. But I think you can't leave. You can't leave based on, oh, you have the young players. You have them. The other teams may have the young players too, but it's not like you don't. You have a very good young goalie in Peter Mrazek. You have very good young players. There's no reason for him really to leave unless he wants more money and Detroit's not willing to give him the money. And if Detroit's not willing to give him the money, I think we should have a debate whether Detroit's front office is having a problem in terms of paying their coaches. Because I'm not going to blame Ken Holland, because Ken Holland drafted this team with a bunch of crap draft picks. Come on, Jonathan Ericsson is a Mr. Irrelevant. Like, this is a team that has been built and just continues to play well. It never plays at a non-playoff level. Like, it makes the playoffs. It never is a team, at least for me, that I'm like, oh, that Detroit sucks. Detroit never sucks. They never suck. They always have those players. And I don't know. I don't think those other teams have anything that Detroit doesn't have.
I'm glad you brought up the salary point because I think the salary could be a big part of it. And, excuse me, I don't think Babcock is going to want a higher salary from a selfish standpoint, saying, I'm the best head coach in the league, I deserve the top pay money. I think it's more of he cares about his fellow coaches. And the current top paid coach in the NHL makes $2.75 million a year, and it's Joel Quenneville of Chicago. The top paid NBA coach, Rivers, makes $10 million. Sean Payton of the Saints makes $8 million. Mike Scioscia makes $5 million. When you look at their peers across the different professional sports leagues, NHL top paid coach is not much above half of what the lowest of the other top paid coaches is making. And he could be looking to set a standard to raise the salary of a top coach league-wide in the NHL, and so that they can get what they deserve when guys of doing the same job in other sports are getting double, even triple what some of these coaches are making.
Wow. There was some ethics and heroism at the end there, Dylan. I don't know how I competed with that. If whoever you think won the debate, put it in the comments below. Suggest what you want as our next topic. We're willing to debate really anything in sports. It doesn't matter if it's local to us, Buffalo, or anywhere across the nation. We prefer a national or international scale debate rather than local, as we feel it'll get us more people wanting to watch our stuff. You know, we want more people to watch our videos. So like, comment, favorite, subscribe, and share the video. We really appreciate it, and thank you for watching.